back, everybody. We are back. It has been, what would it be? January, February, March. It's been 2.5 months, but we're back.
Is this our first
3.5 months.
Is this our first pod of 2021?
We recorded our last podcast on December 2nd of last year.
Wow.
3.5.
We've been busy, folks.
We have been. A lot of things going on. My kids turned 2 today.
Happy birthday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday.
I'm being a real good dad down in the basement recording a podcast, but whatever.
They're getting ready for bed.
I played with them a lot. Their party's tomorrow, so, we'll take care of it then. I've been trying over the last couple months to do a salty podcast, but I'm just so happy that we're doing one. It's really hard for me to channel the dark side right now. But once we get into it, I'm sure we'll get there. Kyle, how old is Cam, little Cannonball?
Old Cannonball is just over 5 months at this point.
Okay, so he was born the last time we did a podcast. I wasn't sure if he had even been born yet. All right. And he's doing pretty well these days?
He had a rough go of it, from 3 months to 4 months. Yeah, but yeah, we're in good shape now. He's just if he'd start sleeping, we'd be in real good shape.
Mm-hmm. In the meantime, Ryan somehow managed to break another bone. Congratulations, yes. Ryan. Is this bone number 37?
37, yep.
Bone 37.
Yep.
What?
I'm only 32 years old.
I gotta say, I asked the doctor. I said, all right, seriously, dude, like, I literally tipped over on the bicycle in the street. I'm embarrassed about that, by the way. But do I have, like, the world's weakest bones, and I should probably not be doing the crazy stuff that I do? And he's like, dude, he goes, I had to drill on you with the best bits money can buy, and your bones are fine. So I think I'm just bad luck, or I crash hard.
You just have a knack for falling in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
How do you do it, Ryan? So Ryan, tell us what he didn't just like fracture a bone and he's in a cast. Like Ryan mangled himself at 4 miles an hour
in the street in the neighborhood. Yeah.
So what happened? How does this happen?
Well, so because I'm like the bike dad of the neighborhood, all the little kids love me, and one of the little kids learned how to ride without training wheels that day. And my son was on the Mack ride seat, and we were just cruising the neighborhood, and she got excited because she saw me, and she came flying down her driveway. And you know how little kids are, they're squirrely, and they go where they look. Well, she looks over at me and is like, Mr. Ryan, and swerved right into me and my son. We went down, and I basically threw my arm under him to break his fall, and he came down on my arm and snapped my arm. It went through the skin and everything.
Oh,
full compound fracture.
Yeah.
But
Tuck's a big boy.
Like a good dad, you protected your boy.
Yeah,
he was really
gotta tell this story differently. You gotta lead off with like, I sacrificed my arm for my son. That's how you tell it.
I'm just kind of embarrassed because I feel like I got pretty good bike handling skills, and I should have foreseen that coming, but it is what it is. I saved my son, and he's fine, and my arm will be fine, I guess. It's got plenty of metal in it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he's a hefty lad, so.
Yeah, he's a little short, stocky stack of pancakes, that's for sure, man.
Old Tuck is a big boy.
Well, in other news, so boys, I guess we might as well just lead off. We might as well just start here. I have relapsed.
Uh-oh.
I was clean for a long time, but I've relapsed, and I'm struggling with my tire addiction problem.
Oh no.
See, we got these Vittoria tires, and I've loved them. I like the way they handle, they roll good, they grip good. But then there's this place called Shepherd Mountain Bike Park. And I'm kind of for a mountain biker, I'm a hefty lad myself, right these days. And for trail riding, for just goofing around, no problem. But I guess I need a full-blown downhill casing tire, and they don't have one. And I am just in a tailspin.
Oh, man. As a sponsor of the show, we got to get Vitoria to kind of step up, and build us some DH casing tires.
They need
to. Do they not have any downhill riders on their tires right now?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I was thinking they did. Maybe I don't know why.
Now, listen, there's no tire on the planet that's impossible to flat. So it could be that I just hit the wrong rock at the wrong time in the wrong way.
You're really good at that, though. Like, you have managed to destroy most any and every tire you've had your hands on yet.
Indestructible tires, by the way.
Yeah, like heavy, like 1,500 gram tires. Clinton is somehow tearing knobs off and slicing open.
It happens, man. So
whereas I can chase Clinton down the same trail on trail tires most days and not have any trouble. I don't even know how that's possible.
I don't know what to do, guys. I mean, I think our discount code's still active, but like many places in the bike industry, they're sold out of tires, at least the ones I want.
I haven't looked. I need to see. I need some XC tires right now.
So I threw my backup tire on the back wheel of my bike, which is actually a trail casing tire instead of the enduro casing tire I had that I'm planning to race the Chubb Enduro on this weekend. It might be all right. I don't think Chubb's as sharp as a Shepherd. And then I went ahead after much back and forth with Kyle and just all over the place. I've actually got a Bontrager G5 on order, 2.5. So it looks like an SE5, but it's got softer rubber, and it's in 2.5 instead of 2.6.
Hey, Kyle.
So, we'll see.
Kyle, remember the other day when I was up at the shop and then you came in?
Yeah.
And you were surprised to see me, and I split pretty quick because I knew you were getting ready to get into the tire conversation with Clinton. I was like, I'm out of here.
And then Clinton's calling me. So, by the way, me and Ryan both work at Momentum Cycles in O'Fallon, so that's what the reference is. So Clinton's messaging me all day, Kyle, get me this tire, get me that tire. I'm like, Clinton, I'm not at work right now. Just call up there and order it if you want it. And then I told him, I'm not going to the shop today. And then I happened to go to the shop that day when Clinton called. And the poor girl, Lauren, who answered the phone, was like, here, it's Clinton. He wants to talk to you about tires. And I was like, no, I don't want to talk about tires today.
Yeah, well, honestly, forcing me to call the shop and talk to a friend of the show, Lauren Pointer. That's right, Pointer, who was on the show, great long-distance endurance rider. I felt like I had to make a choice because I don't feel bad when I drive you guys insane, but she didn't sign up for that. So I was like, okay, order the G5. I'm going to run it on the rear, try it. The question is, boys, assuming nothing happens to my perfectly good enduro casing Mazda up front, which I love, for the BME, do I buy something else just for a little extra security, or am I fine because I'm running on the front?
I always flat fronts more than back rears.
I hate when you say things like that.
No, because here's the thing too, is that the BME is a real enduro. You're not going to worry about spinning tires over. Like you're on the brakes almost most of those stages. You're not trying to put power down like you're going to be at Chubb. So I think you should do a downhill casing front and rear and just let them eat.
Yeah, I could do the Trek team combo. Sorry, Trek, but anybody who knows anything about tires knows you're not running a Bontrager tire on the front. They tend to run the G5 on the back, and then they run a Maxxis Assegai on the front.
Now, with that said, the Trek downhill team does run the G5s front and rear.
They do depends on the conditions, but they do sometimes. Yes, that's true.
That's the default for them is Bontrager G5s, and they're winning. I don't know if you saw who's the young boy we got racing for us now.
Charlie Harrison.
Harrison took first place at Windrock this past weekend or last weekend on
Bontrager
G5. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just run them front and rear because I want to be different. And everybody and their brother has a Maxxis Assegai on their bike. which probably because it's really good. My
It is good.
I would love it.
I've got one on the front of mine, and I do like that tire.
If I get that though, do I go full downhill casing or double down for the front?
Downhill.
Even
for
the
Shepherd.
front?
For a BME race, yes. Full downhill.
All right, boys.
Because if you flat, you're out. But if you lose a second to pedaling, you're in. And you're not going to pedal. You're going to be on the brakes the whole time anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, last weekend we got a little sneak peek of Shepherd Mountain. Pretty much all the trails but one are finished. The one that's still under construction, which the rain today didn't help. It's going to be called Element 26. It's going to be a blue jumpy flow trail that looks pretty sick.
Which I actually, being me, that I just love jumpy flow trails, I actually hiked it from the bottom all the way to the top and scoped it out. That trail is going to be hilariously fun.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've only seen like one feature.
Yeah.
So describe it for us, Kyle. Be the hype man.
It's still got a lot of work to it, but it's steep for a flow trail. There are other sections of it that are really steep for a flow trail. But it's got jumps. It's got a couple little drops in it. It's a very legit blue jump line on a steep grade. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Huh. All right. I've been actually pretty good about not trying to sneak out there and poach it. So we're so close to opening day, though. April 3rd is so close.
Klint, I got a bone to pick about that opening day. You sent Kyle an invite to buy a pass for that day, and you didn't send me one.
That never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't been involved in hundreds and hundreds of hours of meetings down there, and maybe used my connections to maybe get an early ticket. And maybe I didn't invite you because, like we just talked about, you broke your arm in half and figured you weren't riding, and definitely fear for your safety above all others.
All right, fair enough.
Never happened though. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Kyle, did you get a ticket? Yes or no?
No.
Tell the truth.
No.
See, we're all good here. Nothing.
Yeah, I don't know
going on.
I must have mistaken. There must have been an invite to the movie theater or something then.
That was what it was. Had to be.
Mandate.
Oh, I should edit that out, but you know what? We don't do this for money, and I don't really care. So, okay, guys, I don't. This is our podcast, but I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. We probably have, but I have to talk about another podcast because it drove me nuts, and I wanted to bash my head through a window. But this got me salty. And the discussion on this other podcast, it was the Pink Bike podcast, was about should uphill riders still have the right of way? And my response is obviously not. Because
I feel like we've discussed this.
We probably have, but it really bothered me to no end that not in that discussion, not one time did anyone mention some obvious facts of the realities of life.
Yeah.
Namely, number one, when you're going down a hill, let's say it's a trail and it's got switchbacks and you can't see that far down the trail. When you're the one going fast downhill, things are clanking around, you're smashing rocks, your bike's making a lot of noise. If you're coming up a hill slowly, whether you're a hiker or a biker, you can hear someone coming before you can even see them. And if you can hear someone coming and you, because it's your quote unquote right, refuse to get out of the way, you're an idiot. Because you know they're coming and they don't know you're there.
Yeah, I would.
It's very obvious to me. This seems very obvious to me, especially in modern times with full suspension bikes. We go fast down hills, and that doesn't mean we're out of control. But like gravity, physics, it's much easier for the uphill person to just get off the trail.
I'll kind of chime in on that. I agree. Even being a past XC guy myself that pretty much rode cross country for the first 5 years I mountain biked, but enjoy the thrill of going downhill. I always never wanted to screw up somebody's excitement going downhill so I could get some fitness to go up. So I agree with it. I know there's etiquette out there and people will disagree with what we're saying here. Everybody ultimately needs to just try and be safe on the trail, but I do agree that yes, climbing and somebody's bombing down a hill, they can, you can certainly hear them and should try and avoid the get to the side of the trail and let them have their fun. Now, on the flip side, if I'm the guy coming down the hill and somebody is that courteous to stop, climb off their bike and move the side or whatever, I try to make a very significant effort to slow down, look at them, and thank them very, very, very graciously for.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. That's fine. When I'm going downhill and there's other people coming up, once I see them, I slow down. And even if I have room to get over, I get over. But this idea that if you can't stop your bike in 3 feet, then you're out of control is just stupid. Like, I see that comment, like, if you can't get your bike stopped in time around a whatever to get off and to be able to get off the trail, then you're riding too fast and out of control. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, Richie Rude couldn't stop his bike in 5 feet. Is he out of control? Even if he's just cruising, not
the
even
bike's
trying
5
hard.
foot long. The bike itself is 5 foot long.
Yeah. Add in loose rocks, downhill, like, it's just physics. You can't do it. And I'm not going to ride like the people at the I did the Battle of Berryman one time, and I got behind people, and they were literally riding their brakes the entire way down every hill. And these are not steep hills. It's free speed, and they were just on the brakes the entire time. Smooth, mellow grade downhills. Is that how we're supposed to ride all the time, everywhere we go, if it's multi-directional? Heck no, that's dumb.
Here's what I'll say, is that it does depend. Like, if the rider climbing the hill is wearing Lycra and yells Strava when you're about to pass, then he deserves the right of way.
Here's the problem with that, Kyle. This is the bigger point, is if you don't, even if you were being serious, which I know you're not, if it doesn't, people are like, well, if they're on a tricky section or whatever, sometimes you just don't see them until you're pretty close. And at that point, you might not have time to get completely stopped and bail off the trail in a safe way. But the difference is that person coming up the hill, they probably knew you were coming before they ever saw you. That's the part where I'm like, if you hear someone coming, just get out of the way. It's safer for everybody. It's so obvious. Like, I don't know. I don't care. People like, well, it's always been this way. Well, whoop-de-doo. That's not a good reason to do anything. Times have changed, bikes have changed, trails have changed. The way people expect to go ride has changed. And right. Like I said, you have the power as the uphill person. You have the ability and the knowledge to know someone's coming before they know someone's down there.
Right. So here's what I'll say too. Really, it's like I agree that like most times the downhill rider should have the right of way just because of the ability to avoid a crash is within the climber's hands more than the downhill guy. Because like you said, the climber knows that guy's coming forward. With that said, if you're it depends on where you're riding. Like if you're riding, I mean, so for my St. Louis people, Brommelsick, Indian Camp Creek, Creve Coeur, or Cliff Cave, give the climber the right of way. There's nothing out there that's worth pushing someone off the trail for a descent. You're going to be
right.
Out there riding Chubb, and you're coming, and like the guy climbing up is climbing a super technical section that you're bombing, then obviously the downhill guy has the right of way. But like, you know, if you're riding an easy place where there's no real big descents, there's nothing technical, like there's nothing there that's worth risking a wreck for. Be courteous to the people on the trail and understand that if you're having this conversation and you're riding a place like that, you might be the most advanced rider on that trail that day, and that it's your responsibility to make sure everybody's safe too.
I agree with that statement. That's good. That's a good point, Kyle.
And if anybody's wondering why Kyle's echoing, he's in his truck driving south, pulling a race car right now, so it might not sound the greatest.
Ooh, is it bad? I've got an echo on my side, but I was thinking it was Ryan.
It's not that bad.
Buddy. It's not terrible. It could be worse. This is the world's okayest mountain bike podcast, not the world's greatest, so it's okay. We named it what we named it for a reason. Okay, well, here's another thing to be salty about. Ryan, if someone could wave a wand and give you one of these things, just give it to you, would you rather have the new S-Works Edition Specialized Turbo Levo or the 2021 Works Edition, not the regular, the Works Edition CRF 450?
Oh, dirt bike.
Oh, yeah. Well, what if I told you if someone gave you the Levo and you sold it for retail price, not only could you buy the dirt bike, you'd have about $1,500 in your pocket to get the suspension valved for yourself with the Works Edition bike.
Okay, so yeah, I'll buy the Levo and then sell it and buy the dirt bike.
Yeah, we'll give you the Levo. You can sell it and buy the dirt bike and have money left over.
Yeah.
Not just a dirt bike. The current, most advanced, newest, latest, greatest 450 with a Yoshimura pipe,
everything
with
on
the
it.
fancy coatings on the suspension, with EFI, with multiple settings, traction control.
Yeah. And I probably wouldn't even ride it.
Yeah.
No, Clinton, I love that we're talking about this, and I hope we get a lot of feedback from people smarter than us about this topic, because as a guy that works in the bike industry and has for 14 years now, I cannot fathom a world where you can get a fuel-injected dirt bike, the nicest money can buy from anybody, like the nicest KTM, the nicest Husky, Sherco, Honda, Kawasaki, brand new 2021 for less than you can get an electric assist mountain bike. And that is just crazy to me. And I do understand a bit of it, as in the manufacturing techniques that are required and the technology that goes into manufacturing a carbon fiber mountain bike are different than a steel welded frame. I get that. But there are still, there's so much that goes into a fuel injected high performance engine that it shouldn't be comparable to a pedal bicycle. And
here's one better for you though, Kyle. Let me add some salt to the already very salty anger brisket I have brewing here. What's amazing is if you get on the Specialized website, now I don't know if this is because legit these have actually been bought, but the Pro version, which retails for only $13,000, so it's only $600 more than the Works Edition CRF 450, sold out in every size. The S-Works version in 2 different colors is sold out in 2 sizes as of this morning. Sold out.
I'm calling all my friends that own motorcycle dealerships tomorrow and telling them to raise all their prices.
Hey, I'll say this: if you bought one of these and you're listening, get yourself down to Shepherd Mountain and make use of that thing, because that's the place to go ride it. E-bike paradise down there.
Like, I kind of had a desire for an e-bike before my accident, but by God, I'd never even fathom spending that.
No.
I mean, I ride my dad's some. To me, the e-bike's more. I think of it more as like a utility vehicle for getting, like, it's not as fun to ride downhill. I don't care what anybody says. It's not. It's still fun. And it does, I mean, you fly up hills. I rode it this winter out at Berryman when it was kind of sloppy. Like, they're definitely fun. But for me right now, I can't imagine replacing my acoustic bike with an e-bike.
To me, I like the way I look at an e-bike is like with my I guess we call them acoustic bikes. I've never heard that term. That's cool. My acoustic bike or my regular pedal bike, like I need top of the line stuff, right? But I would think on an e-bike, like I can get away with not having the 9.9 Trek model or whatever. Like
Right.
I don't think I need all that stuff in an e-bike like I do on a regular bike. So to me, a $13,000 one is just absurd when I would probably just go pull the trigger on the $4,500 one. And I'm the guy who likes all the premium stuff in that.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at a Trek Rail 7 right behind me. That was my parents. And I'll be honest, like, maybe because I'm not pushing it as hard as I can like I do on my normal bike. It's got a Yari on it. It's got a RockShox just deluxe rear shock, aluminum wheels, and I have a blast on the thing. Like
that, yeah, that's what I mean. You know,
I'm not looking to go push it like a race bike down the hills, and it's been totally fine so far. I mean, I rode it down the Black 2 trail at Shepherd. Didn't have any issues. So.
I'm curious, I'll say. So, I as everybody knows, I've got more bikes than I ride, and so I've had a road bike for like 5 years now, and it doesn't ever get ridden that much. So I had considered ditching the road bike this year in favor of an e-bike, but my 4-year-old's too big for the Mac ride. I'll probably end up doing it though when my now 5-month-old is like a year and a half or 2. When he's old enough to ride the Mac ride, I'll probably swap a road bike for an e-bike, and that way I could go do Lost Valley or go do full 10, 12 mile, fairly decent loops of trail with a 30-pound toddler on it if I had an e-bike.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. That was my thinking with the e-bike too, Kyle. But now with the injury, by the time I'm healed, and Tucker's getting big, man. You know.
Yeah.
Because what was Connor was probably about 4 when you quit doing the Mac ride with him, or 3 and a half.
Probably close to 4, yeah. Because I think me and him did Mac ride up until about June or July this year, and then he turned 4 in August, and he got his own actual pedal mountain bike for the first time in August. So once he had his own 16-inch mountain bike that he could like follow me on trails on, we stopped doing the Mac ride because the same trails that I was doing the Mac ride, he was capable of doing on his mountain bike anyways.
Yeah.
What else is new, boys? Either one of you got something to be salty about?
I'm just salty I can't ride.
Really?
But I am going to come out and hang out at Shepherd on the BME. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to just hanging out. I love being around bikes and racing and the people. Another thing I got going just for the local St. Louis crowd is I got to get off here at 8 o'clock. I'm sure we'll be done before that. But we got some NICA, which is the high school. NICA stands for National Interscholastic Cycling Association. I started the St. Charles County team last year, and we're going to have a race season again this year. It's our second sophomore season with Missouri having a league. And so I got a meeting tonight with coaches, and then in about a week, registration opens for students who want to race either middle school or high school. So that's kind of going on. Obviously, I'm going to be playing a backseat role in that till I'm healed up and can start doing more coaching on the bike. But it's a fun deal, and if your kid likes to ride bikes, I encourage you to check out MissouriMTB.org and get your kid involved. Get them signed up on a team. It's super fun. All kids participate. We don't do tryouts and cuts. Everybody's going to ride. We got good instruction. So if they're brand new on a bike or a mountain bike, we got good quality instructors to help them learn good skills and be safe. That's what I got.
That's awesome.
Well, that's nothing to be salty about.
I'm not salty about it at all. I'm excited.
Way to kill the mood and make it better.
Yeah, I'm trying to be positive. You know?
All right, no, here, I'll get some salt. So it's frustrating to me that I'm finally at an age where I realize, realistically, I have probably pinnacled as a rider, and that the risk versus reward for injury and missing work, so we're a single income family, is outweighing my desire to continue growing as a rider, and that frustrates me to no end because I like progressing, I like continuing to grow, but now I find myself I don't have as much saddle time as I used to, and so every time I ride, everything is fairly new again. You know what I mean? I ride, certainly monthly, but like not like 4 or 5 times a week. And so when I go places to get a ride, I no longer have the ability to spend that entire day practicing a single trail or a single feature or anything. If I get to go somewhere to ride, it's kind of a special opportunity for me, and I just have to squeeze in as many miles and laps as I can and safely as I can. And I am so frustrated that I realistically, this is as good as I'm going to get probably, and I hate that. I wish I could kind of keep growing, and maybe Shepherd will provide an opportunity for me to ride some familiar stuff more frequently and get better at it. But man, I know I've got more in me. It's just the ability to have time to get there is frustrating for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Out for Kyle. Kyle, we got to get you a new job. Is what we got to do. We got to find you a job where you can be in a body cast and still do it. We got to figure this out.
Sit at a desk like me.
That's sad, Kyle.
Kyle, I have to agree though. I think not this recent accident because that was just kind of a freak thing. But when I did my pelvis 2 years ago, I kind of came to that realization is like, I'm getting older and these injuries are pretty severe. Breaking a pelvis in your later 30s is not something I would advise. So like I've kind of come to that realization too. But the problem is then you want to go ride and check out things like Shepherd or something like that, and that stuff's challenging, and you still got to be on your game, right?
Right.
You can't be any slouch and show up at those places and just think I can come off the couch if they're not riding for you. You need to be pretty mentally sharp as well as physically sharp.
You guys are depressing. I'm gonna be in denial forever.
I'm in denial.
I'm gonna carry on the family tradition like my father before me, and just be in denial about how fast I am forever.
So here's the thing too. So and I'm not upset where my riding is. So like I went to Shepherd and hit almost every feature there. Not blind, but pretty much my first time seeing it. So there were two real features that I did not do in completion that I wanted to do that I looked at that day. It was just because like, hey, I only have another hour to ride today. I would like to just keep riding more laps instead of focusing on this one thing and working up to it and doing it. So I can hit the full, like I can clear all the jumps at the bottom, and they're big jumps, and that's really fun for me. I can drop the hammer at Kohler. Like I'm not upset with where my riding level is. It's just that a lot of my friends and a lot of the guys that I'm riding with have the ability, time, or they make the time to go continue improving. And every year they ride, they get faster and stronger, and they maintain a level of fitness year round. And I haven't been as fit as I want to be in 5 years, which is about how old my kid is. So I guess that makes sense.
Kyle, I will throw a caveat in there, and I'm guilty of this too. You have a lot of hobbies. And I'm saying that because I'm just as guilty, my friend. I don't have as many as you. I don't have as many as you, but dude, I want to go ride my dirt bike.
I was gonna say, Kyle.
I want to go ride my dirt bike. I want to go ride my side-by-side or my Sea-Doos, water ski. I'm a lot like you, Kyle. So the focus, right? Like I think when we think about people like who have progressed and continue to progress, that's all they do is ride mountain bikes, right? So, and I'm not singling anybody out or saying like in general, but like a lot of times that's the case is like you're
right.
So.
No, I spread it pretty thin on what I have time to do on weekends and stuff like that. But that's always been my game, man. Jack of all, master of none. Like I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Like from being proficient to being pretty good at like a lot of things, but I am really good at nothing. Like there's absolutely nothing that I'm really good at.
I'm with you, brother. I'm glad we're on the same
You are
team.
the king of hobbies, Kyle. I am not. I pretty much right now mountain bike, and I've told some of my moto friends that after the BME is over, I'm putting the mountain bike away for a little while. This Shepherd Mountain project's about to kill me.
But hey, we
we're
all
so
owe
close,
you a big
but
thank you for that
it's been
too.
worth it.
We all owe you a big thank you, and a couple other guys, Dave Coolio and whatnot.
Well, let's finish up. I want to talk about this place real quick. So we're going live with ticket sales on Saturday. Right now, they've got scheduled out every weekend other than BME weekend through June 27th. If you're listening to this, I'm just going to tell you right now, that link, we're going to post it on Facebook at 9 a.m. Saturday, and I expect pretty much the whole summer to be sold out by 9:30.
Really?
There's only right now they've
Clint,
got it set at yeah, Kyle, what's up?
Tell everybody how it's going to work. So this is actually new to me too. So it's not going to be a park where you can show up morning of and ride, right?
You can show up and ride, but you're just not going to catch a shuttle. They're capping the shuttle sales at 40 tickets per day because they want to make sure if somebody came and paid that they're going to get enough laps to justify. Now the ticket's only $30 for the whole day. I don't think that's that expensive. I think you should get enough laps where you feel like that was money well spent, no problem with 40 people. Now the city, I promise you, they are working on trying to change up the shuttle road a little bit. My dad's actually coming off the bench and is getting involved because they want to make it smoother so that the shuttles can drive faster so you can get more laps. I mean, they're still working on that. They're probably going to buy more vehicles in the near future to increase capacity. So this is just where we're starting at. This project has been, yes, we got a grant basically from ISIP, but this has by far and away been a volunteer project. We did not have a blank check with millions of dollars, and we didn't have somebody say, here's not even $1 million, not even close. So they have stretched every dollar, but man, the trails are already so good. I've had a lot of people that if you're somewhat fit, go ride without the shuttle. Yeah, you got to climb, but that's what they do in the rest of the world where there's big mountains. They ride up, they ride down. I mean, if you want to descend 600 feet anywhere in the country without a shuttle, you got to climb 600 feet. We do that. It'd be like going out to Chubb, but doing, basically do twice as many laps as you normally do, and that's how much descending you get at Shepherd. So, I mean, I'm going to be out there opening day, but other than that, you're probably not going to see me in a shuttle much in the future just because BME, there's no shuttle. You got to go 5 laps up and down that sucker. And there's a climbing trail. There's kind of some other ways that you'll figure out that it might be a little faster getting up. But, you a lot of parks, like Canoga out in North Carolina, it's not shuttle. It's 500-foot mountain instead of 600, but you've got an e-bike, and that'll work. We've got people down there local that they are working hard to try to get rentals, like e-bike rentals, to add to the shuttle capacity, basically. I mean, let's just put it this way. What's going to be there on April 3rd is just the beginning. That is by no means the end. It's built and they're satisfied and now we're done. No. We want to give people the opportunity to ride the thing, and we're going to keep growing stuff. There's more trails that'll be available after the BME. It's an ongoing process. And I haven't even finished all the buildings, but it kind of comes down to the choice of, do we want everything to be finished and absolutely perfect, or do we want to let people come and start enjoying what's there? And there's plenty there to get in 2 good days of riding. If you ask me, I mean.
Oh yeah.
There's plenty. Your first 2 trips down a trail are not going to be fast, especially the black trails. We've had many people that did not take heed to my speech I made before we started the test day. There are blind drops. There are gap doubles at the bottom. If you haven't ridden something and you see what might be a feature and you're not 100% sure, stop and look. Don't assume you can just roll off of stuff, because it's just not the case. Other than like the green trail and the blue trail, the black trails are, I mean, really one of them's a double black at least. They're legit scary.
If I can comment, I haven't been there. Obviously, you two have, and I saw some GoPro footage the other day from last weekend when you all were riding, and usually GoPro makes a trail look pretty simple. Even the GoPro footage, I was like, this place is gnarly. So I hope people that show up are prepared and ease into it, because otherwise they're going to be carting a lot of people out and they're going to be sitting on the sidelines with me.
I mean, I have never been.
It's a legit downhill park. I mean, I've ridden all over the. I mean, I guess I could say all over the world. I mean, only in this continent, but I mean, I've been to Whistler, I've been to California, I've been to Colorado. I mean, I've ridden lift access downhill many places, and it's a legit downhill park. I mean, on one full push top to bottom on a blue trail had legit arm and hand pump. Like, and I haven't had that since I rode Whistler back in 2010. I mean, it's a real deal. I mean, it's everything out there is steeper, looser, faster, and more technical than you're used to riding. Even that blue trail would have had a black stamp on it almost anywhere else in the country. It's awesome. It's a really neat piece of trail out there, and it's not your traditional what we've come to know as bike park stuff in the Midwest. I mean, it's totally different than what's in Arkansas. Not necessarily better, not necessarily. It's just different. It's a totally different style of riding, and it offers something new to see and different styles to ride and try to sharpen your tools.
Yeah, I've never been to Windrock. I've been to Chattanooga, or close to it for a race, but I blew up a wheel. I've never been to Keystone, but people who have been to those places were telling me, I mean, we're going down the blue trail, and the guy behind me is yelling, "Have you ever been to Windrock? This is just like Windrock." So I'm basically, if you've never ridden at Windrock or somewhere out west, then you've never ridden anything like this. Even if you've been to Arkansas a couple times, it's just like Kyle said, it's different. It's just different.
It's real. It's real mountain biking.
Yeah. I once heard somebody say out at the O-Rock Epic Enduro, there's trail riding and there's mountain biking. And this is mountain biking.
Yeah.
But, boys, it's been over 45 minutes. You know, I'm just glad we got a podcast in. We'll try to get some more specific topics here in the near future.
I think if we do more and we keep them shorter like this versus an hour and 15, we'll be set.
Yeah, there we go. I'm going to make you guys come up with the topics unless some of our listeners, chime in and give us some topics to talk about. I'll talk about anything. If we're not careful, it's going to become the tire podcast all over again. So
here's the thing, too. So what we should do is we should start talking to race winners. So let's figure out, you guys want to, whoever wins see if we can invite whoever wins the Chubb Enduro, and then ask what their expectations are for the rest of the season for the Missouri Enduro Series. And do some of that. So let's see how the Chubb Enduro goes this weekend, and maybe catch somebody there that might want to do an interview and just talk about mountain biking with us.
That's a good idea.
Good idea.
We'll do it, and we'll see some of you guys. Are you coming to watch or hang out, Ryan, at Chubb?
I can't. It's my 10-year-old's birthday this weekend.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I will see the rest of you out there.
I'll be there with my 4-year-old, I think.
I hope everybody has fun, though. It's going to be a nice weekend. Good luck.
Yes. At least it's not going to be 38 and rainy like last year. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for the time. We'll catch you later.
All right.